Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? And welcome on into a special edition of Bronco Nation News Live. We are at the James Kitchen and Bar. We had football practice. We're going to talk about that. The first practice in full pads today for the football team. We got Jordan Kaye with us and for his normal Wednesday appearance, but didn't have enough time to shoot back to the studio and weren't sure how late today we wanted to do the show. So we asked our friends over at the James if we could come do the show here, and not a bad spot on a Wednesday morning.
Beautiful.
Awesome day. You can see the stadium in the background. This will be our location for the pregame shows. Again, more details on that, but hopefully you'll make plans that UCF game to start your pregame experience with us over here at the James. We'll have a lot of things. They open at 11 o'clock now, every day at 11, full menu. They have the sandwich shop downstairs now. You can get that as well. So they deliver through DoorDash on the sandwich shop as well. But every day open at 11, and on Sundays they open at 10 a.m. on Sundays for brunch now here at the James. We were both here, I think, for the Luke Combs concert. Had a good time here. Always a nice and out. The weather's cooling down a little bit. Perfect spot to come hang out here on the patio. And again, you can see Albertsons Stadium right there behind us. Awesome spot here on Broadway. So a lot to get to. Going to be a fun show here. We were going to talk after practice, by the way. George Halani and Ashton Genty are the two guys today we're going to talk to. So going to be some running back talk today.
I know. I saw George Halani was on the Doak Walker Award watch list, probably with about, 85 other people. So that's going to be a great honor for him. But yeah, it'll be fun. I think this is the first time we've talked to them in, almost 6 months probably.
Now, I do want to give you a heads up. We're going to play this Mountain West statement. I guess we'll start with the realignment latest, then we'll get into practice. But we do have a very special guest that we're scheduled to have at 4 o'clock. So stay tuned. We're going to have a very special guest, 4 o'clock. We're going to simulcast this with KTIK, tag team this if we can. But just be ready. Later today, we'll try to give you a tease about 3 o'clock if we can. 4 o'clock, the latest in conference realignment with the one person that I think can make a big difference here as we not try to give it away too much, Jordan. But the Mountain West did come out with a statement today. That is probably the newest thing, I guess. We have the statement here. Monday night, the Mountain West Board of Directors, comprised of our 12 presidents, met to reaffirm our collective commitment to the conference and its future. With the recent changes in membership composition in several conferences, the Mountain West is exploring all opportunities to strengthen the league, including through the addition of member schools. Board of Directors, Chair President Garnett Stokes of the University of New Mexico, and Commissioner Gloria Nevarez will be the voice of the conference and will lead the ongoing explorations of possibilities before presenting any to the board. We are strong in who we are, proud of the exceptional experience we provide the student athletes of the Mountain West Conference. And so I can read. I read that pretty well. That was nice. But
you did say compromised instead of comprised.
Comprised.
It was close.
That's kind of means the same thing. What do you make of the Mountain West statement here?
I think it doesn't really hit on much new. I think everyone kind of expected that the Mountain West is going to try to expand. I thought it was kind of interesting. Yesterday we saw in Mark Ziegler's piece that Gloria Navarro said the word merger. And that, anytime a commissioner kind of goes out of their way to say a word like that, I think ears perk up. And so maybe it was kind of interesting that the word merger was not in there, but the word additions was. And just kind of by trying to read really deep into that statement, it sounds like they're trying to keep the Mountain West intact and add, and maybe the merger isn't on the front of their mind.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of see this as 4 options, I guess. The obvious options are the Pac-12 stays together, the Mountain West dissolves, those teams go join the Pac-12. You have the Pac-12 teams or some version of them leaving to join under the Mountain West umbrella. You have the possibility for an official merger, as you said.
Yeah.
And then you also have nothing happening to the Mountain West and those teams from the Pac-12 going east.
Yeah.
So those 4 scenarios are all in play. At this point, what do you think seems like the most likely to you?
I think the most likely is the Mountain West swallows Oregon State and Washington State. I really just do not see the logic in a merger. The Mountain West has all the leverage in the world right now. The schools are not going to pay a 34 or whatever the merger would be. I know there wouldn't be an exit fee for that, but the Pac-12 is not going to remain an autonomous 5. They're not going to get those college football playoff shares. They're not going to have a spot at the table. It's just another group of 5 conference. And I don't understand that people don't realize that, that's going to change very soon. Having the Pac-12 brand, I mean, that's a joke right now. I wouldn't want that right now. The Mountain West has a better reputation than the Pac-12 at the moment.
I would agree with you on that. I think the Mountain West does have a lot of leverage here, but if you're Gloria Navarez and company in the league office, you're just hoping that the schools aren't allured by the name of the Pac-12, because you do have that risk where 9 of the 12 decide to leave, and they dissolve the conference, and then the Mountain West office is essentially nothing.
Yeah, and I think if you're Boise State or whatever looking at this, and this wouldn't be a pro Mountain West thing, but the only way I can possibly see the Pac-12 remaining is 9 of the 12 schools leave the Mountain West Conference and go to the Pac-12. Therefore, the conference would just be in shambles. And then the Pac-12 can go add maybe a couple other schools.
Yeah, SMU's in the mix.
Tulane, Memphis. You get those, all of a sudden, you have the best group of 5 conference, bar none.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, maybe this is a respectable conference.
All you want to happen if you're Boise State too is whatever conference, whatever you end up in, they're obviously going to change now the format of the playoff.
Yeah.
I get it. But you just hope there's still one guarantee. If there's 4 power conferences, you hope they give you 5.
Yes.
You still hope there's some access, because if they do, that you'd certainly be in a great chance for whoever wins this conference to get that spot. You just don't want them to go, well, why are we giving any spots? Our 4 of our teams are going to make it no matter what. Let's just take the top 12.
Yeah.
Let's just take the top 4 or top 2 and not worry about them and take 10 at larges. They're going to change the format. You just hope the format still includes one group of 5 league.
Just one. And for anyone thinking that the format is going to stay the same, and because the Pac-12 dissolved, there's now going to be 2 group of 5 teams, that will never happen.
No.
And right now, I think Craig Thompson put in work for probably a half decade trying to ensure that one group of 5 team had access to the playoff. And man, you hope that these last couple of weeks aren't going to diminish that whole thing.
A lot of comments coming in on the ICCU YouTube chat. Nate says he's prepared to be extremely let down by the Mountain West yet again, hoping Gloria can prove me wrong.
What would a letdown be? Just Oregon State and Washington State go into the AAC? Is that the letdown?
The letdown would probably be nothing happens. You keep your 12. Yep.
Okay.
All those schools go elsewhere.
Okay.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Maybe even a school from the Mountain West leaving.
Sure.
Maybe even San Diego State deciding to go to the AAC or something would be a huge letdown. I think some people might call it a letdown if you just add Oregon State and Washington State.
That can't be a letdown.
Would that be a letdown?
I don't think so.
Given everything that's out there, if you keep your 12 and you just add those 2.
I guess, if you're looking in the grand scheme of things, maybe this is the point where people in the Mountain West and fans around the conference are like, we've got to be the big dogs here. We got to be the ones that kind of shake up things. And yeah, you're right. If the Mountain West doesn't do it, probably the American's going to go do it. And this is kind of the dog-eat-dog world right now of college football.
Chase wondering, Chase says if the merger happens, he thinks it'll be under the Pac-12 name, but with the Mountain West staff. You obviously have, if you're voting on a new commissioner, you obviously have more people voting on the Mountain West side and the Pac-12 side.
Yeah.
If they have the name and it's technically their conference, I don't know how that would work. But I think based on what we've seen the last year, it would be a damn shame if somehow George Kliavkoff is still the commissioner of this league and Gloria Nevarez is out of a job.
I can't imagine that they sign that.
If they add members, do they go back to having divisions or just redo the pods? What do you think happens if they do add teams to what the schedule would look like and things?
It depends how many teams they get to. I mean, if you're at 16, you're probably going to have to do pods. If you're maybe at 14, maybe you go divisions, and anything less than that, I think you can just keep it the way it is. I think we're kind of going away from divisions right now in the Mountain West.
Nate says if they can add those two schools, wouldn't call it a letdown. They would still need to add more, though, get to around 16, which is where conferences are going these days.
Yeah.
But now you have SMU, which I think a lot of people said, oh, just go get SMU. Well, now SMU is basically telling the ACC, we'll do it for free. Yeah, so I mean, that's going to be if that's the case, and they're offering that, the ACC is going to be, it's one thing to say, do you really want Stanford and that kind of travel? But SMU could fit into the ACC a lot easier, I think, than a Stanford could. Yeah. And especially if they're willing to lower the money, all of a sudden it's not as easy as Gloria Nevarez just calling SMU. They've got options. Yeah,
and I think if you're, I don't know, I think sometimes folks in this part of the country can just be like, think of the Mountain West as the just the best conference sometimes. People in Memphis, people in Tulane, people at SMU, they think down upon the Mountain West. Like going to the Mountain West would be a step down from them. Right now, they think being in the American is better than being in the Mountain West. And I think, it's not as easy as Gloria Nevarez just calling up and saying, would you guys like to join? Like, they're going to say no.
Yep. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And like I said, just to tease it, be on the lookout on social media around 3:00. We're hoping at 4:00 we will play the interview if we can tape it and make it work with our special guest at 4:00 simultaneously on Bronco Nation News and KTIK Radio. We have something really cool in the works, but I don't want to jinx it, and I don't want to give other people the to know that this person's doing interviews and be able to kind of get it. So we will just stay tuned, but you're not going to want to miss the interview later this afternoon. Jordan's appearance here brought to you by our friends at Taco Bell. TacoBellGivesBack.com. They're doing a ton for Boise State and the local community, giving over $300,000 in scholarships over the next 5 years, and they've helped almost 50 Boise State student athletes with scholarships since in the last couple of years. So check them out, Taco Bell. They're doing a remodel on the Broadway location. We're working on some things with them, possibly to maybe do a pregame show or something down there at Taco Bell. So stay tuned for that. Cutwater Spirits. We're in the mobile studios here at the James. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Rowpaint.com. You heard Coach Leon Rice talking about it. He had Row Paint redo his garage a couple weeks ago, and he's satisfied. You can be too. One-day install. It's 5 times stronger than epoxy. Check it out, roepaint.com. I saw Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford, out at practice today. They let anybody in there, apparently, to football practice today, but a big supporter of Boise State Athletics. He's got the NIL deals with Taylon Green, with Paige Barsh, and also with Riley Smith. So check them out, lithiafordboise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. And you can do what the Raines family did, purchase a vehicle from them. We couldn't be happier. Speaking of Taylon Green, he'll be the guest on Tuesday. Coming up next Tuesday, the Tyson Degenhart Show, ICCU, the presenter of that show. Check them out, iccu.com, for all your banking needs, the best mobile e-branch online banking around. And yes, next Tuesday, the Tyson Degenhart Show, our special guest will be Taylon Green. You're not going to want to miss that. And if you need some Boise State gear, whether you're going out to the home opener or whether you're going up to Washington, theblueandorangestore.com has you taken care of. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com, or if you're in the Boise area, just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there on the second floor next to Pro Image. All the new hats, the new sideline apparel, the Nike gear, anything you need, check them out at theblueandorangestore.com. We appreciate all of our major sponsors for their support of Bronco Nation News and allowing us to be out here and talking football. And any final thoughts before we transition to Boise State football and what we saw practice today? I mentioned a big interview coming up at 4:00 that will tie in with realignment, but just where things stand. Are you expecting anything to happen soon here? I was told maybe it's going to be another quiet day today, so it doesn't sound like this is maybe imminent where we need to be checking our Twitter accounts every couple of minutes. But what do you think in terms of what's happening here in terms of the timetable?
I think something is going to break in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, we've seen this conference realignment. Things happen quick. And I think there's this sense of urgency amongst conference presidents, your conference commissioners, university presidents, and athletic directors. Kind of like, hey, if we don't do this right now, someone else is going to. And there seems to be this, just huge rush, and it makes it really hard to sit idle by. And I think it's going to kind of break in the next 2-3 weeks. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that, obviously things could happen sooner. I think we're all kind of waiting on what's going to happen with Stanford and Cal when they figure out what they're doing, if they're going to go to the ACC or not, if they're going to go independent, or if they decide, to take the best offer from the Mountain West, at least for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. You wonder if the Mountain West would offer some sort of lesser buyout for those schools. Say, we'll take you for a couple of years, and when the new TV deal comes, we'll give you some sort of out clause if you have a better option. But right now, we'll take you.
Yeah.
Who knows if that would be an option for a couple of years to take them. I think Oregon State and Washington State will end up with.
The only thing with the Oregon State and Washington State is is it feasible for them to be in the Mountain West making $6 million a year? I mean, right now they're operating on a media deal that's over $30 million.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they have to go down to $6 million, they're going to have to really look hard at their accounting.
What other options do they have right now? I mean,
that's what I don't know, but that's the thing. If you go down to $6 million, they have to see if they can keep all their sports.
Yeah.
Can they keep their staff? I mean, their football coach is making $3 or $4 million right now.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of questions that they have to answer internally before they can just accept the deal.
No doubt, and that's why they probably are talking to the ACC or trying to see what else is out there. Don't forget, somebody brought this up about the AAC. Everyone's talking about the AAC getting more money. They just lost UCF. They just lost Cincinnati. They just lost Houston. The AAC deal is not going to be as lucrative moving forward as so maybe the last deal, yes, was a little better than the Mountain West, but I don't think moving forward it's a guarantee that, if you want the bigger payday, you just go to the AAC.
Yeah, and the only thing I could understand with the merger too is if they merged, would they be able to right away negotiate a new TV deal? Because right now the Mountain West is going to have to wait 2 more years to negotiate anything. In 2 years, it might as well be 2 decades at this point. So if they could possibly merge, go under that Pac-12 umbrella, could you then negotiate a bigger TV deal? And right now with inflation and the way kind of things are going, it's going to be bigger. It might not be double, but it's going to be bigger by a couple million.
We're out here at the James Kitchen and Bar. They're set to open here in about 5 minutes. 11 a.m. They open every single day now. They got the sandwich shop downstairs, but they've got full menu all day. So come in for lunch. As you can see, we're literally right across the street from Albertsons Stadium, the Boise State campus. Amazing spot. The rooftop here is an awesome spot to hang out. They have happy hour from 3 to 5 as well. So come on up, and if you tell them you heard us talking about it on BNN, maybe we can get them to throw in a discount on your drinks or something. But awesome spot. Love it here at the James. We're going to be hanging out here a lot during football season for some pre- and post-game shows. Excited about some cool announcements we have on participants for the pre- and post-game shows coming up as well. But kind of gets me in. I was already in football mood, football season, but the setup here at the James, seeing the stadium in the background, this is kind of our pregame setup here. It's really getting me fired up. We got Jaden Finch, by the way, our intern/associate reporter, doing a great job as always. So he's been getting some photos for us and helped set up the equipment here. So I want to give Jaden a shout out behind the camera and appreciate his help as well. Somebody just donated $5 to us on YouTube. So
sweet.
I didn't know about that, but
thank you.
I would say I'd let Jordan use that to buy a beverage, but we got to go do football interviews here in a couple minutes. But thank you, Jacob. That's very nice of you. That's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that. So we just got $5 from Jacob. So thanks, Jacob. Appreciate you, man. But we're here. I mentioned the football stadium right behind us. We were just over there indoors today, the first indoor practice of fall camp. It was also the first full padded practice of fall camp. So we got to watch about 50 minutes or so, the Boise State football team in full pads in the indoor. It was kind of muggy and hot.
Well, I think
not as bad as it's been.
They cranked it up.
They did on purpose, but it's been worse. When they played Florida State, when they played Louisiana Lafayette, they would crank it all the way up and they would hose down the field. They would hose down the players, and you'd walk in there and it was almost like you were in a sauna.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad today, but they did crank it up. We were sweating a little bit in there.
Yeah.
They're getting ready for that, Memphis humidity a little bit there. And
I was trying to think what game are they preparing for?
I think Memphis.
Memphis probably, yeah.
September.
That's a later,
kind of a muggy game, but either way, it was interesting that the first full padded practice, they went indoors today. We got to see a couple team reps, got to see some individual stuff. Anything stand out to you from today's practice?
Not a ton. I think it's just kind of we did see on the first team offense, there were a lot more of the normal starters, I think. We saw Riley Smith finally getting in there. He hadn't been taking many team reps. We saw in the backfield, George Halani and Ashton Genty were splitting those first team reps. And, there was even one time where George or Ashton Genty was lining up like on the outside. And that's something I'm really interested of talking to him today of like, hey man, if George is in the backfield, like what are the odds you could just line up at slot and all of a sudden your two best playmakers are on the field at the same time?
Which I think he did a lot in high school. I think Ashton Genty played some receiver in high school and obviously put up some big numbers in the receiving game. Yeah. So that is something he's accustomed to. And I think anytime you can get both those guys on the field at the same time, that's kind of a fun toy for, fun scenario for Bush Hampton to play around with.
Yeah. And if you're I think that, the easiest way of like, being an offensive coordinator is just thinking, if I'm the defensive coordinator, what is going to make me mad? And if I'm an opposing defensive coordinator and I've got to start preparing for Ashton Genty, Taylon Green, and George Halani on the field at the same time, like it's going to be a rough week. So, I imagine they're going to try and use that as much as possible.
Now, stop sending us money. We appreciate it. But Nate Staley just sent us we got $10.
Nate, thank you.
So we appreciate it. We're doing okay, though. We will use these for a post-practice beverage at some point. But you're already a subscriber. I think both of you are. But we'd rather you just subscribe to the site. But thank you, guys. Don't stop giving us money, guys. I appreciate that, though. Very nice of both of you to do that. And Jacob and Nate, thank you. We're not out here on like a telethon or something asking you to raise the donations up here. We're doing okay. But I'll say two guys that continue to stand out to me. One is Austin Bolt. And the other one is Shea Whiting.
Yeah.
And I know both those guys were not kind of listed on the top 3 or 4 receivers that everyone talks about going into camp, but Austin Bolt made a couple of really nice catches again today. Shea Whiting, number 9, continues to show up in plays, continues to show up in my videos, the videos that Boise State is posting on social media. Both those guys, I know it's more health related with Austin Bolt.
Yeah.
But Shea Whiting is not one of the first 3 guys that gets mentioned, and he keeps stepping up as well. So I think what we already thought was going to be a deep position wide receiver might be even deeper.
Yeah, I would remember, I think it was last week I was asking Matt Miller just about his guys and was kind of rattling off some names and having him, describe them to me. And he's like, don't forget about Shea Whiting. And I was like, it was like the 3rd time he had brought up Shea Whiting. And I was like, what do you like so much about Shea Whiting? And he's like, man, he has just worked his tail off this summer. And the explosiveness, you guys are going to be able to see it. And yeah, he's not wrong. Through the first couple practices of fall camp, Shea Whiting has done a bunch of stuff to stick out. He's a really fast, really versatile guy that runs his routes very crisp and can catch the ball. That's a lot, basically what you want. He's been in Boise State offense, now for a little bit and kind of understands Bush Hampton's playbook after being here for spring ball. I think he could be, in the mix for that 3rd receiver spot.
Hey, if you are looking for a local grocery store, check out our friends at Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. They got locations all across the Treasure Valley. Check them out, shopridleys.com. Download their app and get exclusive savings on your smartphone up to 40%. If you need a job, check out Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. Check them out as well. They can help you get into the trucking industry, all the permits and things you need, whether it's the Amazon truck in your neighborhood or the big rig on the screen. They can get you out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, transcomservice.com. You need a dentist? Check out BoiseDentistryCo.com. 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. They make it an enjoyable experience for the whole family to go to the dentist. Check them out. Find a location near you at BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance, 229-8222. They make business insurance easy. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. So make sure you check them out at UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. We're going to be, believe it or not, Jordan, I'm heading back down in 2 weeks to Circa Resort and Casino, our partnership with them. They've got a huge contest weekend coming up. Any of you guys that are big sports gamblers, like to be a sports gambler, get in touch with me if you want to split this. It's a $1,000 entry. They have 2 different prizes. The Survivor contest, which again is just a straight Survivor pool, $8 million to the winner, and then $6 million for the Circa Millions, where you pick 5 games against the spread. And again, it's a $1,000 entry. But if a couple BNN folks want to split an entry, we can get in on that. You can send me a message. Let me know. I'm going down in 2 weeks to sign up BNN for at least 1 entry. And part of Jordan's salary is relying on us winning this Survivor pool here. So we'll.
How far did you make it last year? Like 2 weeks?
I was 4 weeks in, but we were actually about 20. We were part of like the 20% that was left. It was a crazy year last year, and a lot of teams were eliminated early on. They started with over 6,000, and they were down to like 1,500 already in week 4. And we were eliminated by, of all teams, the Kansas City Chiefs. losing to the Indianapolis Colts in Week 4, which I thought I was taking a sure win to move on to the next week, and that's what gets you. But Circa Resort and Casino will be doing some shows down there in a couple weeks for their contest weekend. Shows from all over the country are coming in. We're going to have Derek Stevens, the owner, on live. Looking forward to that. So check them out, Circa Resort and Casino, proud partners here at Bronco Nation News. And one last shout out, Matt Boucher and Boucher Real Estate. Very appreciative of Matt and his team. They helped us get up to Canada, and they can help you find a new home or sell your home anywhere in the Treasure Valley. Check them out. No home is too big or too small for Matt Boucher and his team. 243-8222. Check them out online at BoucherRealEstate.com. We got about 5 minutes left here. We got some other comments coming in there. Good drinks, Matt says. Yes, great drinks. John, I know Johnny's kind of a Manhattan. Johnny goes with the little martini glass. I'll just go for a straight rum and diet. But I know that James, their old fashioned, is kind of their specialty drink here.
Yeah, it's solid.
They got a lot of great drinks here. Love this place, man. It's actually not too hot right now with the sun behind the clouds. They got the patio going. They've done a lot of work out here. They have the new lighting out here, some nice couches and chairs. Mm-hmm. We're really enjoying it here. And if you're looking for a after work spot, happy hour, evening spot, the menu is awesome. The pizza here is tremendous. The deviled eggs, got smoked salmon on the deviled eggs. Really just all the food here is great. And we appreciate Barry and Perry and the whole crew at the James for helping us out here. So come check them out. And again, tell them you showed up because you heard us talking about it on Bronco Nation News, and see if they'll give you some sort of discount or not. Just ask for Barry and tell him. Who knows? I'll put him on the spot right now. He's probably in there watching. Give him a discount, Barry, if they say they heard us talking about it on BNN. So anything else in terms of practice? We mentioned we're going to talk to the running backs after today.
Yeah.
You're working on a story. I know there's been a couple other Ahmed Hassanin stories out there. Yours is going to be much different when you post that later today or tomorrow. I'm excited to read that. They had another commit today as well. Do we know who it is yet?
We don't. I mean, there's a couple guys I think it could be. But yeah, don't know who that is going to be yet. And yeah, they got a guy 2 days ago too. So, I mean, they're rolling along. This will be number 13.
So we'll be tracking that, and you'll hopefully get something up on the commit later today as well. We'll have the running back story coming up later today as well. We'll get the video of Ashton Genty and George Chalani talking to the media posted a little later this afternoon as well. But anything else from practice today? You mentioned kind of the depth chart, what we saw there. I mentioned Shea Whiting stepping up for me. I noticed the defensive line. I went down there and was watching Eric Chenander and Spencer Danielson. They were doing some linebacker defensive line, kind of filling some gaps, working on some things down there with some trash cans, kind of serving as offensive linemen. And, I think that a lot of people are nervous about that defensive line. But, I mean, I'll tell you what, man, Herbert Gums is a guy to me that I think could be in line to take a big step forward. And I think they need him to take a big step forward.
Yeah, and the thing with him is, I mean, you're not going to see it on the stats. Like, he's a nose tackle that is there to fill space. He's not going to all of a sudden have 40 tackles or something like that, or 4 or 5 sacks. But yeah, I think you're going to kind of hear the coaches talk about him different, almost in that Scott Matlock role where, hey, we ended up having a tackle for, 2 yards or whatever, but it was all set up because Herb did this. Yeah, and I think that's definitely possible. And then the other thing, I thought it was really interesting. Andy Avalos, he's a linebacker guy, but today he was really, really working with the edge position. He was making sure that their pad level was low, that they were accelerating up when they were blocking. And I thought that was just kind of cool to see him almost take over as a position coach today and really work with the edge. And Jabril Frazier was working with the defensive linemen. And so I sometimes the head coach is just kind of meandering around the middle of the field, making sure everything's going okay. Sometimes it's very cool to see them as hands-on as Andy was today.
They did a lot of special teams work today, and a couple of the periods we saw actually had a blocked field goal yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's
and a botched punt today. So.
Yeah, they did have a botched snap on a punt. So the special teams, they're probably 9 for 10 on the other field goals.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see, but at least in the portions we saw, a couple special teams miscues. I thought Titus Toller had a nice pick yesterday.
Yep.
I didn't see any.
He's been, I haven't. He's been getting first team reps at nickelback. So that's kind of an interesting thing to follow too.
I thought Markel Reed had a couple nice pass breakups today. We saw some kind of 1-on-1, 2-on-2 kind of corners getting some work there in the red zone. Down there at the end. And I thought Markel Reed, Jalen Clark both had a couple nice pass breakups. I mentioned Austin Bolt. We have the video. I'm not sure if he kept his foot in bounds or not, but Austin Bolt had a great diving catch over the middle. But that's what's fun for me is the 1-on-1s, the 2-on-2s, the tackle and the DN going at the one-on-one stuff in camp when those guys really get after a full summer of nothing. Getting after it with the pads on is what I really enjoy watching.
And you can learn a lot about a guy, you know, what they're like when they lose, what they're like when they win, who's winning against who. And all of a sudden you kind of can form a better picture in your head of, you know, what this team's depth chart is going to look like in 3 weeks.
Well, again, we will talk to George Chalani, Ashton Genty coming up after here in about 15 minutes, and then we'll have those interviews up. He'll have a story on that as well. We hope you would support our efforts with the subscription. We'd love to have you. We got Mike Prater writing columns. We got Jordan and I. That promo code is not active. There's the current promo code. If you want $1 for your first month, and then $6.99 after that is Fall Camp 23. You can use the promo code Fall Camp 23. First month is $1, and then $6.99 a month after that. Or if you want to just pay one time and not have to worry about it again, $70. One-time fee, $70. You're basically paying for 10 months, and you get 2 months free that way. And then you also get a $20 gift card we'll throw into Taco Bell. Or if you'd rather go play golf at Timberstone, I'm in a good mood today. It's a nice day outside. I will throw in a free round of golf at Timberstone if you sign up for a $70 subscription, one-time fee for Bronco Nation News. So a lot of our stories are behind the paywall. We're even talking about putting some of these shows behind the paywall. So please support our efforts. Go subscribe. We'd love to have you at BroncoNationNews.com/register. And you can click at Bronco Nation News on the top tab there. And again, $70 for the whole year. We'll throw in either a round of golf or a $20 gift card to Taco Bell. If you want the monthly one, you want to try us out for a month, $1 for the first month. Try us out. Promo code is Fall Camp 23 when you sign up for a monthly subscription. Try us for a month, and if you like us, you can keep it going at $6.99 a month. And if you don't, you can cancel it anytime in the first 30 days, and you're only out $1. So thank you to Perry and Barry and everybody at the James here for letting us hang out. Thanks to Jaden as well for getting us on the air and helping us out as well. Come on down to the James, have a drink, have some lunch, hang out. And we'll be seeing you here soon for sure. But we're going to head over and do our interviews and get to some work this afternoon. Again, 4 o'clock. Be ready by your computers, your phone, wherever you watch us. 4 o'clock, big simulcast interview with KTIK and Bronco Nation News. I can't give it away, but it's going to be huge, and it's the person you want to hear from right now when all this is going on. So thanks a lot for joining us. We appreciate it. Jordan, nice work. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we will talk to everybody later. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News live from the James Kitchen and Bar here on Broadway near Albertsons Stadium. BJ Rains and Jordan Kaye. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.